Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Been seeing a lot of people ask, what are the best weapons in Modern Warfare 2 right now? What are the go-to? What are the pros using? What's going to dominate in game? Today, I got you guys covered. We're breaking down the top 10 best weapons to be using right now. Starting first at number 10, we've got the SPR. So this thing is basically a shotgun and a sniper in one, right? It's just that strong. You can run around and quick scope with this thing, which is where I build it out to basically be the best. And it's going to be able to one-shot at almost any range here that's realistic for multiplayer, maybe outside of some ground war engagements, but for 6v6 for most gunfights you'll get into in ground war, this thing is spicy. So first up, I got the pad extension here for that faster ADS and then also faster sprint speed, and I go ahead and I tune that for a better stability so it's not swaying as much, and then also an even faster ADS speed. We got the bolt on there as well for that rechambering speed. That'll make the fire rate a little bit faster. You can hit your clips a little bit easier with this thing. High velocity ammo tuned for max range and max velocity. That's just going to help out and make it feel more consistent in some of those medium and long range fights when it comes to hit reg and bullet drop. So basically free stats out of the high velocity ammo here. The OLA laser per usual for that faster ADS. This does also help out the stability as well, which is nice and ideal there. And then we got the elevate barrel here for the better range and velocity as well, tuned for a faster aim walking speed so you can strafe with this thing slightly faster. It's nothing crazy, but it's a little something, right? And then we got the faster ADS on this as well. This thing, like I said, it's the shotgun sniper and it's very powerful. Now at number 9, I've got the RAAL MG. And you might be wondering why it's a little bit lower on this list, because the damage is insane. Like when it comes to long range fights, I don't think anything has a better TTK than this unless it's a one-shot weapon like a sniper rifle. And really to me, it's the speed that brings this thing back in line quite a bit. Yes, it is the most powerful gun in the game. It's also one of the slowest guns in the game by a decent margin, right? So your ADS, your movement speed of this thing, it's not going to be crazy, but that power is next level. So here I go for the AIM-OP 4 optic. I really like this thing. It's a nice clean reticle in my opinion. I tune this for the furthest eye position. If there's a different optic you like more, whether it's the Schlager, which obviously we talk about on the channel here a lot, whether it's a blue dot, totally comes down to your preference. Whatever you're the most comfortable with, always use that for sure. We got high velocity on here as well for that better range and better velocity tunage. That way we can get some free stats yet again. The Dune underbarrel is going to help out with steadiness, which keep in mind is just all general recoil, vertical and horizontal. So going to be nice and easy to shoot. Also helps out with some stability as well, and we tune that for even better stabilization and even better idle stability as well. I got the Shred CP90 muzzle on there. This is your basic compensator for vertical and horizontal controls. So this thing's gonna shoot straight. It's going to absolutely shred through everyone. We tune this for better stabilization and better gun kick control. Then lastly, we got the Demo Field Pro barrel on here. Better range, better velocity, better pizza Papa John's, and the best tunes out there for damage range, and then also better recoil steadiness as well. Slow and heavy, but my goodness, is this thing frying. Now at number 8, I've got the Fennec. Again, this thing has so much potential to be a top 4, top 3 gun. It just has some drawbacks, some balances that really keep it in check. That said, its pure TTK output, its damage output for close range is insane. The fastest killing SMG in the game right now. Up close, if you get shots on first, that opponent stands no chance. Like, this thing is just that strong. So here, bit of a different setup. I'm going for some decent mobility while also trying to maintain some decent control as well. So we can still run around and be very aggressive, but also have it shoot straight too. So I got the rubber grip on here. This is for better sprint to fire and ADS, keeping in mind that mobility. And you can actually tune this for max sprint to fire and even better recoil steadiness. So you're kind of getting an added bonus, adjustment on there too, and balancing it out more. 45 round mag, just because the fire rate is so insane. Even for multiplayer, I'm not super comfortable with just 30 rounds because you run out of ammo so fast. So that's pretty necessary in my opinion. Phase 3 underbarrel for the better hip fire stability and recoil stabilization. You can tune this for a faster ADS or better recoil stabilization if you wanted to really max that out, totally down to your preference. Then I tune it for a better aim walking speed as well for that strafe. I've also got the Lockshot KT85 muzzle again. Basic compensator. This one focuses a bit more on horizontal control, but also has some vertical control aspects in there too, so this will help with that recoil pattern a lot. I tune this for even better stabilization than max gun kick control, and of course we got the 7mm laser on there as well for that faster ADS and that faster sprint to fire. Two huge components of a close range gun that'll make it even more dominant and even more lethal. Now at number 7, I've got the AUG rifle, the STB556. Previously this was like a top 4, top 3 gun as well. The nerf with season 1 did bring it back in line a bit more more by nerfing its close range damage, but really I feel like this is a mid-range rifle at its core. That's where it's going to thrive. That's where it is so dominant. It's still nice and aggressive, and it's got low recoil as well by default, so it's going to be super easy to use as well. So here I go for the Chrono Mini red dot. You could also go for the Chrono Mini Pro blue dot. You could go for the slimline if you wanted to. Even for mid-range, you could use like the AMOP V4 if you wanted. That's totally preference-based. Tuned for that furthest eye position yet again, and as always, 7 milliwatt laser here as well to keep that aggression, to keep that mobility nice and fast there, because you can play around with this thing in close and mid-range. It's just not going to be as dominant as it once was. Sack and Shred 40 muzzle here for the better control, basically all around here, tuned for better stabilization and then better gun kick control yet again. I go for the 42 round mag. The 30 again on this gun in particular just feels a little inconsistent sometimes. That safety net of that extended mag is really nice and reliable in my opinion. Then I go for the Q900 rear grip for the better sprint to fire and ADS, and just like on the Fennec, I actually tune this for better recoil, so I'm getting balance control but better mobility too. And then I also tune it for slightly better stability, because the sprint to fire here we don't need to focus on as much as if this was an SMG, right? So very well-rounded setup in my opinion, super easy to use, nice and reliable for that mid-range area. Then moving on, at number 6 I've got the M13. This thing again is very dominant in specific gunfights. Mid-range and long range, this thing's going to fry. Its recoil is like next to none. This thing is an absolute laser beam, by far one of the easiest guns to use in the game, and in turn that means it's going to be easy to land shots consistently, and you'll be able to just dominate enemies in those mid and long range fights. So here, high velocity ammo first and foremost, tuned for that better range and velocity, gonna make it even more consistent for mid and long range. We got the Ripper underbarrel here. This is one of the variations of the underbarrels here that help out with stability, accuracy, and stabilization. They're all essentially doing the same thing, so you can use basically any one of the ones that we talk about in this video today, honestly. And I go ahead and I tune this for even better stabilization and even better idle stability as well, so it'll be nice and easy to shoot. Sack and Shred 40 on here, yet again, just like over on the AUG, better stabilization and then max gun kick control for this tune as well. I go for the Echelon barrel, which is better range, velocity, and control, making this gun even easier to shoot, and we tune it for better steadiness and then slightly better range. Then lastly, Chrono Mini Pro, your basic blue dot, tuned for that furthest eye position to make it nice and easy on that visual recoil. Super reliable gun here, absolutely finds its way into the top 10. Now just a reminder, as we're breaking down the top 10 for MW2 today, if you guys are new to the channel, every day I got you covered with the best class setups, the best loadouts, tips, news and updates for MW2, Warzone 2, and DMZ. So all things COD every day. If you guys want to guarantee you're up to date with that stuff, feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. Around 60% of viewers watching are not already subscribed, so if that's you, we'd love to have you join the family. Also, if you guys enjoyed this video or if you find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. And keep an eye out on G Fuel all month long. Every time a new flavor is dropping, Code Immortal is going to get you 30% off for the first 2 days that flavor is out. So if there are any new releases that you guys are excited about, if there's any old flavors as well, Code Immortal will get you 20% off everything else on the site. So great time to stock up in time for the holidays. Also, G Fuel makes some great holiday gifts as well for what it's worth. Anyways, moving on here. Next up, we've got the Kastov 74U. It's a rifle. We all know it plays like an SMG though, and for close range, it is also incredibly dominant. So here, we're basically just kitting this out to be as fast and as aggressive as possible. We got the Olay laser, better ADS, better sprint to fire. We got the 209 barrel, which is for better movement speed and ADS. You'll notice it hurts your control and velocity, so we actually gain some of that control back by tuning up for that increased steadiness. Then I also go all in on the ADS speed, so it's nice and snappy. I go for the Castle compensator, better control all around. We tune that for better stabilization and max gun kick control yet again. Shark fin underbarrel is free stability with no cons, and then you can get free ADS speed and strafe speed by max tuning in both of those directions. Then lastly, we got the True Tac grip, better ADS and better sprint to fire. We tune that for better control to balance it out, and then we go all in on that sprint to fire as well to make it nice and aggressive, super fast, super agile, and it kills super quick. Then at number 4, we got one of my favorite guns in the game between Warzone and multiplayer right now, the RPK. This thing is a powerhouse of an LMG, and truly it feels more like a rifle than it does an LMG once you build it out with how I have it here. So first up, per usual, we got the Schlager 3.4 times on here for those mid and long range fights. My favorite optic in the game, tuned for that furthest eye position. I do use the 40 round mag here because 75 is too much for multiplayer. It's going to slow you down too much. 40 is nice and consistent and a lot faster in terms of just general mobility and everything going on there. High velocity ammo, tuned for better range and better velocity, so it'll feel more consistent in mid and long range. We got the Bruin Warrior grip for that better recoil steadiness and aim walking steadiness, and we tune this for a better ADS, so it's a little bit snappier, and better hip walking speed, so it's maybe a little bit faster when you're walking around. That's nothing too crazy, but you're getting a lot of solid pros out of that. And then again, we got the Sack and Shred 40 muzzle for the better control, tuned for better stabilization, and then max gun kit control once again. Very reliable, heavy hitting rifle right here. And then at number 3, it's honestly, it kind of feels like the same gun. It's the Kastov 7.62. This and the RPK are so similar, especially when you build out the RPK to be more of a rifle than an LMG. These two, are very, very close to one another. Hence why they're 3 and 4 on the list, because both are super dominant and super consistent. So here we got the Demo X2 yet again for that better control, tuned for a slightly faster ADS. You could also go for the steadiness if you wanted to. I feel like overall this thing's relatively easy to use, but that's more up to your level of comfortability with the gun. I also tune it for better stability as well. We got the Schlager 3.4 yet again, tuned for that furthest eye position. I go for the 584 barrel in this case for the better range, velocity, and control. Gonna make those mid and long range fights super, super easy. I tune that for better steadiness, better damage range as well. Lockshot KT85 here for the better vertical and horizontal control, tuned for that max gun kit control per usual, and then also the better stabilization as well. And then I go for the Ripper underbarrel, better recoil stabilization, better idle stability as well. We tune that for even better stabilization and even better idle stability, so this thing's not going to move when you're shooting it. It's nice and consistent, and that's going to land a lot of shots on opponents and make the gun feel like it's absolutely melting. Then at number 2, taking home that silver medal, we got the M4, a weapon that is heavily favored by the pros. I've seen some very spicy setups with this thing, including this one, which is very similar to what a lot of the pros have been messing around with, with all their GA talk and everything here. This is just that strong that it's, always being brought up there. So the Olay laser is the one attachment here that can be flipped out for something else. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but I like using that for the ADS and sprint to fire. The high tower barrel here for the better range, velocity, and control is huge. You tune that for better steadiness and better damage range as well. Castle compensator yet again for better stabilization and better gun kit control on those tunes. We got the Ripper underbarrel once more as well for better stabilization and better idle stability as well, so super easy to shoot. Then we got the Sack and ZX grip for that better recoil control, tuned for even better steadiness. You could also go for ADS speed though if you wanted to. Again, just tune it how you want the gun to feel. Then we go for max stability. Now here's where you could switch things out. If you wanted high velocity ammo for better hit reg over like long range, go for that. If you wanted a blue dot or a different red dot or a Schlager or whatever the case may be for an optic, you could go for that. A lot of the pros actually use the P80 Strike stock here for the better mobility. Also could swap out for that. It's totally preference based. The Olay laser though is what I like using on my build. And then lastly at number 1, we've got the Scar, the TAC 56. This thing is just old reliable, honestly. It brings the power, it's got the control, it's got decent mobility as well. It's not too bogged down, not too heavy either. So it's checking all the right boxes, and it's got the perfect amount of everything to be the most reliable and consistent gun in multiplayer at the moment. This setup is honestly pretty similar to the M4s. I got the Olay laser on here yet again. We're going iron sight shooting here. I love the iron sight on this gun in particular, so that's going to help out with the aggression there, ADS and sprint to fire. We got the Tundra barrel for the better range and velocity, and I tune that for better control and then also better range as well. Sack and Shred 40 yet again with the max gun kit control and slightly better stabilization. We got the Ripper underbarrel yet again for better stabilization and idle stability. And then I like to go for the high velocity ammo just to help out with that hit reg in mid to long range fights, give it slightly better range. We tune that for the better range and velocity. But again, if you wanted an optic, you could go for that, swap out high velocity for that. If you wanted a rear grip for better control, you could opt for that. You could even opt for an extended mag. Definitely comes down to preference with that one. That all being said though, those are currently the top 10 best weapons in Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. That's gonna wrap things up for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. That way you can always guarantee you're in the know for all things going on in the world of Call of Duty. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.